Well, I'm delighted to have been asked to speak at this conference and to lend my support for the formation of a branch of the SCL in Vietnam. I'd like to congratulate Nam Chung and the Interim Steering Committee for their work they have done and will continue to do in establishing SCL Vietnam. I'm also glad to share the platform with Johan Bash from South Africa, where I believe I attended the inaugural SCL conference there, and Anil Changaros, and in fact I attended and I think I gave the talk to SCL Singapore before SCL Singapore was formally made and a branch of the SCL through the government processes. And I think it's worth reflecting as to why a Vietnam branch of the Society of Construction Law is so important. I mean, one can see from many reports that Vietnam is one of the fastest growing economies in the world now. The construction sector accounts for a significant economic growth in Vietnam. I'm told that it's growing at about 8.5% annually for the past 10 years, with annual output in excess of 50 billion US dollars per year. And the expansion in terms of roads, railways, port projects and other projects has obviously contributed to this. Also, there have been a number of very successful government development plans which have supported that growth. So the basis is there for a lot of construction in Vietnam. I have to say I was in Vietnam a good many years ago when the economic prospect for Vietnam was not quite so rosy, but I'm glad to see that it is now proceeding well. The SCL, as many of you will know, started in the last century, but towards the end of the last century, in the UK, and it's now spread its influence around the world. In addition to, I think it's now 16 branches around the world, it fosters international exchanges through the international conferences it holds, and it's held those more recently in Chicago. And this coming year in November, there will be an international conference in Auckland, New Zealand. And what the SCL does is it provides opportunities for all those involved in construction and law to discuss, learn about, develop construction law. There are many organizations which are limited just to lawyers, but the SCL has a special cachet in having many construction professionals as part of its organization. And it's interesting that while national laws always have certain differences, there's a surprisingly common international approach to construction contracts and methods of dispute resolution. The conference, obviously, that everyone's attending there brings together a number of specialists in the field of construction law and dispute resolution from Vietnam and around the world. And just before I came online, I was able to see the audience and I noticed a number of colleagues who I've met, some as recently as earlier this week in Singapore. Obviously, I'm sorry that I can't be there in person, but at present, I'm sitting in a case in the Singapore International Commercial Court here in Singapore, but I'm pleased to say that it is just settled. And I can see from the program that you've discussed what I would describe as the usual topics that I think interest everyone in construction law, ranging from forms of contract, the FIDIC form you've heard about, and obviously NEC 4 I can see has been dealt with. And then there are the usual question of claims under construction contracts, which fascinate us all, together with questions of delay analysis, delay and disruption, damages, and so on. And one of the things I think about construction law, which is probably more fascinating than anything else, is the number of multiple ways in which construction disputes can be resolved. And I know dispute boards, international arbitration and mediation have been on the program. So in summary, what I'd like to do is to lend my support to the project to bring forward an SCL branch in Vietnam, and hand over to my colleagues within the worldwide brotherhood of the SCL to say a few words themselves. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Trung. Sir Vivian, Anil, Trung, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The opportunity to congratulate you and your committee on behalf of the SCL Africa on establishing the SCL Vietnam. When Stoffel Ackerman and I founded the SCL Africa in 2013, we didn't expect a very warm welcome and the tremendous support we received from all of the sister SCLs worldwide. The SCL is a wonderful organization which offers its members enormous benefits. Not only is there a vast library of papers on the SCL International database, but there are regular conferences and events worldwide which allows people with an interest in construction law access to the latest developments in construction law globally. But it also offers SCL members a very welcoming international community of like-minded construction law practitioners across the globe. An opportunity not only to expand your professional contacts, but to make lifelong friends. I know from personal experience that establishing a new society is very challenging. When Stoffel and I started out, just getting to a point where we had an operational website was a challenge. You need to engage enthusiastic people on your committee who are prepared to do the hard yards to get the organization going. We struggled to obtain any traction until we had our first event. And from then on, maintaining and growing our membership base was dependent on having regular events and a conference at least once every second year. We try to have a construction law 101 course, which is a very basic construction law course, which we host on several occasions through every year, because we have found that there is quite a big demand amongst our members for basic construction law education. And then we also partner with other professional societies, such as RICS, for example. Their members need professional development points every year, and we partner with them and offer an event which gives their members professional development points, which in turn allows us to market our society to new members. I know that some other construction law societies have a construction law update. I think Anil was instrumental in getting that done for SCL Singapore, and they used to have a construction law update every year just before memberships expire, and in that way engage their members again for the next year. Now, all of this is very daunting in the beginning, but the great thing about the SCL community is the support that's available from your sister societies. We're also deeply indebted to Sir Vivian for having acted as our keynote speaker in both our inaugural and in subsequent events. Other of the SCL sister societies have made speakers available for our events, and all of these speakers were prepared to give up their professional time and to come and speak at our events at their own cost. And we are deeply grateful for this. And my message to you this afternoon is, firstly, congratulations on establishing your society and getting your first event underway. That's the biggest step that you've already taken. And we're very excited to have you as part of the SCL international community. And then secondly, always remember that your sister societies are there to support you in whatever way we can. And then, and just in closing, we have our very best wishes, and we know that your society will grow from strength to strength. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. in this occasion, I would like to convey my gratitude to SCL Vietnam, especially to my colleagues Nam Trung for his working hard until getting an approval from the SCL International. So I believe that this organization will bring our country to the good position, especially in the construction law, because construction law is an important thing in this era of development of our country. I believe Vietnam can achieve the good position in the ASEAN as one of the countries who have good regulation and then can be used by other countries as an example of the development. I think that is from my side. Thank you very much indeed.
Hi, my name is Shai Jackson. I'm the treasurer of the United Kingdom Society of Construction Law. I'd like to congratulate the Vietnamese Society of Construction Law on its launch. I know that a lot of effort has gone into it, and you should all be very happy with the successful outcome. I've also seen some of the great events that you have organized so far, and it puts you in a great position to develop your activities and develop an active society with lots of participation. It is very good to see you joining the international community of all the different societies of construction law around the world. It provides us with many great opportunities to cooperate, learn from each other and support each other, and I look forward to doing more of that and hopefully seeing you soon in person. Again, I wish you great success and congratulations.
Good morning. My name is Anil Changaroth, and I'm speaking to you on behalf of the Society of Construction Law International. I also happen to be on the Council of the Society of Construction Law Singapore, and I was its chairman in 2012-2014, right? But today, I'm here to speak really about SCL International and SCL Vietnam, and I'd like to start off with this.
Tôi xin chúc mừng Hiệp hội Luật Xây dựng Việt Nam chính thức ra mắt ngày hôm nay.
Really about congratulating all of you on this incredible occasion of the launch of the Society of Construction Law Vietnam. And in my message, I'd like to just speak about a couple of things. The starting would be about SCL International, and then about SCL Vietnam in particular, and about the way forward and the future forward. Now, if you take a look on SCL International, a couple of things. I sit on the Liaisons Committee, and together with Paul Beatrix from the United Kingdom, we oversee the new societies that form, right? Now, for those of you who are not familiar, you need to realize that what is SCL, the Society of Construction Law, all about. And it is essentially to promote the education, study, and research in the field of construction law and related subjects, both all around the world, for the benefit of the public and the construction industry. So it's really about empowering and educating people. Now, we at the Society of Construction Law International have got a liaisons committee made up about 5 of us in particular, and Paul and I oversee the new societies that are formed, all right? And there is also, among the 5 of us, we oversee new conferences that are held, new protocol, and a whole lot of other aspects of SCL. On this SCL International, all the chairmen, vice chairmen, and the international relations representative from each of the societies would also sit on this larger group. Now, this larger group is going to be meeting in early November in New Zealand virtually, just before the 9th International Society of Construction Law Conference takes place in New Zealand from the 3rd to the 5th of November, a really exciting event. It's the 9th such conference that we were holding. Interestingly, the first of which was started in Singapore in 2006, then 2008 we were in UK, 2010 we were in Hong Kong, 2012 we were in Melbourne, 2014 we were in Malaysia, 2016 we were in Sao Paulo, Brazil, 2017 we were in India, 2018 we were in Chicago, USA, and we were supposed to be in New Zealand last year, but because of the pandemic, we've had to move it to this year, right? So that's a broad idea of the SCL International. Now, just speaking about SCL Vietnam, right? I had the incredible opportunity of connecting with Wayne Nam Trung, who's now become a close buddy of mine. When in his initial stages of deciding when you guys wanted to set up SCL Vietnam. And Paul and I then started advising Trung on how it should be framed, what the constitution should look like, and a whole lot of other things that we discussed. And interestingly, Trung and the rest of you on the council especially formed a very exciting and dynamic group to lead the steering committee, and which I also had the pleasure of sitting with on to formulate an idea of how and where you wanted to take SCL Vietnam to. And incredibly, you also managed to have webinars, seminars, and conferences over the last 2 years that have been incredible in its learning experience. I had the honor of being at one of your first conferences held in Vietnam. And I also had the privilege of speaking during the pandemic virtually on various aspects of the law. And, you know, the steering committee as a whole have got such a dynamic group that I'm so honored to be a part of. And you've now reached a stage where it's become formal and you can now move on. So that's the second part of what I wanted to say. The third part of what I want to say is that where does this all go to? Right? You remember I said it's really about education and study and research in the field of construction law and related subjects. So it's really about not just lawyers, but all empowering the whole of the construction industry and the practices, and taking the standards, if possible, to a higher level. And that's what SCLs around the world are doing. Right? So Vietnam has got this incredible opportunity to do the same, and you've already started doing the same, right? The third point I wanted to talk about was how this is going to go forward in the future. You know, Vietnam, SCL Vietnam is one of 4 latest societies to join the international group. We are now at about 18 or so societies, and we are still engaging others in the region. I'm in communication and discussions with possibly SCL Philippines, Pakistan, Indonesia as well, right? And these are some of the societies that are coming up and right? Now, this platform gives you an incredible opportunity to get educated and trained and take the standards to a much higher level than you've ever had the opportunity to do. And the Society of Construction Law gives you the framework. In many countries, there are different organizations that deal with different aspects. So like, for example, in Singapore, we have the Singapore Institute of Architects, we have the Singapore Institute of Valuers and Surveyors, Surveyors and Valuers, SISV, Singapore Institute of Surveyors and Valuers, and several other organizations that do independently, they do different things. But collectively, when you talk about wanting to educate and train in the field of construction law, the Society of Construction Law gives you the best opportunity for that. Now, it is not about lawyers, it's about the whole industry as a whole, and that's where it's going to be. So I'd like to leave you with this last comment. I think the Society of Construction Law Vietnam is placed in such an incredible position, and that you are likely to be able to take on not just everything in Vietnam, but take on the world as well. And I think you guys are primed to be able to showcase what SCL Vietnam can do on an international platform. And I just wish you all of the best in that endeavor and taking it forward. Congratulations again.